our points tally in this group. You know, we didn't play well in Georgia and we didn't play well in Germany, but we rescued the situation with 2 goals in injury time. Tonight we very nearly did it again, but I'm afraid we were totally outplayed in the middle of the park. They had more guile, they had more intelligence, they had more composure. We were a bit unlucky maybe that McCarthy and Wes Hoolahan were injured, because they're 2 lads who can maybe show more personality when we have the ball. I think Hendrick got lost tonight, I'm afraid. He got caught up in the hurly-burly of the game. His temperament got the better of him, as it did with a number of players, and we gave away silly fouls. We went to sleep at the goal, but there's, as the lad said in commentary, as Ronnie said in commentary, no complaints. Scotland were a much better team.
Eamon, your take on what we've seen?
Yeah, I think before the match, you know, I said to you that there's not much between these 2 teams. And I think that was a consensus among people. In fact, the 90 minutes showed a gulf in quality, passing. Liam says personality, character, desire, but real quality. Robertson, Naismith, Maloney, Mulgrew, really top class passing, movement. Even the goal itself, you know, it's a classic. Worked on the training ground.
But is that not down to a mistake from us more than brilliance from them?
No, because you have to want to go and take the short corner. You have to put Maloney into the position where he can produce that bit of magic for the goal. That's real quality football. Now, I wouldn't be too hard on Ireland. I thought they were magnificent in a way. I thought Richard Keogh was the man of the match by any standards. I thought he was brilliant. He really did well beside John O'Shea. I thought there was a lot of good defending, a lot of heart. But Liam said it, intelligence, football intelligence, guile. Put James McCarthy there in a holding midfield role with his experience as well, because inexperience showed tonight. Wesley Hoolahan, someone who'll get the ball down and make the other team work when you have the ball. See, if you give the other team the ball back cheaply, straight away, they don't, have to work as hard as you do. And so our lads knackered chasing the ball. And Hendrick, you know, wasn't really, he was out of his depth a bit. McLean also didn't do much, but he didn't get much in the way of service. McGeady, I thought, did much better in the second half, worked hard. You couldn't fault the Irish lads for effort. I thought O'Neill made a brave call, leaving Robbie Keane out. But we're going to have to understand that we have to pass the ball, we have to use the quality that we have. Hoolahan would be a certainty in that scenario. John O'Shea, I thought, played really well tonight and nearly equalised. We hit the crossbar in the last minute. But it was all heart, whereas they had the edge in quality and intelligence, and actually they played better football.
Richie, did they play better than us?
It was the ugliest game of football I've seen in a long time. I'd agree with what's been said. Before the game on paper, I was one of those who said, you know, I think we're evenly matched. You couldn't really see a gulf in class on paper between what we had and what they had. But the difference in the game was their players up front showed up and made a difference. I thought Naismith was excellent at times. Maloney, not only in the goal, but he looked bright. Mulgrew in the middle of the park. And we can't say that about any of our attacking players. McGeady, I think, had an off night. McLean didn't have much of an impact up front. We didn't have the impact that they did. It was a fair result. It was a disappointing result. The performance was very poor. Liam made the comment before the game, we want a result as well as a good performance. We got neither. It was a fair result, though.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Maloney and the way he played this evening for Scotland. Like, you watched him recently against Bolton for Wigan, and you were not impressed with him at all on the evening.
I watched Wigan and Bolton as preparation for this match. I'll go to any lengths
to
serve.
That's all we expect. That's what we expect.
And he was poor. He played for Wigan, played outside right. He was very poor. I thought we wanted to worry about him next week. But I think Strachan is a factor. I think there's an exuberance about Gordon. We've worked with him here in this studio. There's a kind of a zest for life. There's no fear. And I think he's, you know, that team were terrible. They were hammered before he took over. Craig Levine was the manager beforehand. They were a national joke. They went to Czechoslovakia, played 4 at the back and 6 in midfield. They were very frightened, and he took over to beat Croatia twice, home and away. But managers infect the dressing room with a certain spirit, as well as the intelligence. And, you know, now Martin O'Neill has a great CV and has been a great coach. And you have to be fair to him. The three midfield players tonight, Hendricks, Gibson, and afterwards, I mean, Brady improved it a bit, Quinn improved it a bit, but we just have to. We're such
much of a muchness.
Yeah, the shallow. Liam knows because he's worked, and he said
there's nobody with guile and intelligence really to slow the game down, spread the play. We created a chance in the second half when we actually did that, and we got the ball out to McGeady, and he put a good cross in. But that was really the only move as such that Ireland put together. And that's what the difference was. They had the players, as Eamon's mentioned them, and we've all mentioned them, Maloney, Naismith. They had time on the ball. Why did they have time on the ball? Because Gordon Strachan has encouraged them to play. Yeah. As yet, I've yet to see a method in our play from Martin. And, Trapattoni was criticised for the way he played the game here with the Irish players. And Martin's really just continued that. He hasn't changed it. He hasn't brought the thing that people wanted, that to go through midfield, to trust one another with the ball. It's not like that. I'm afraid there's no trust between the players.
But does
on
he
the
have
ball
the playing
well, that would be my argument.
That would
be certainly McCarthy and Houlihan could have improved things, but I think there's a dearth of talent. Especially now, Richie mentioned the two lads up front not being able to hold on to the ball to bring the midfield players into it. Robbie Keane is 34. Martin hasn't got the look to have Robbie Keane when he was 24, and we really haven't got those kind of players.
Coleman is a kind of indicator. Coleman, we know from seeing him every week with Everton in the Premier League, he's outstanding, goes forward, he's daring, there's enterprise in everything he does, and we don't see that Seamus Coleman playing for Ireland. We didn't see it tonight. We didn't see it the last time he played for Ireland. So that's a clue, maybe. You do need to be encouraged to pass the ball. You do need, that goal they scored tonight, they obviously worked on that in the training ground. If they didn't work on the training ground, we'd never take a short corner.
Can we look at the goal now?
We did in the first. There is a couple of differences. There was and I know we're going to get into a Trapattoni conversation now, but there was a couple of differences from the Trapattoni era. In the first half, there were a couple of times when Ford played the ball out to a defender, O'Shea looked to play it, that wouldn't have been seen. There was a short corner in the first half.
I think that's a bit unfair. There's plenty of times the Irish team played through midfield.
No, I'm saying playing from the back. I remember the Trapattoni.
That's what I mean.
You're saying there was no differences. Shea Given got the ball and
a lot of the time. Well, this goalkeeper didn't throw out. Ford never threw it out once, I don't think.
I think you remember the first half he had the ball at his feet and he passed it to John O'Shea. I remember thinking
when Scotland dropped off, but when there's any pressure on it all, no, it goes straight up.
All the good things we said before about both dressing rooms, and I made the point that they both described themselves in similar ways. What O'Neill was saying about the Irish camp, Strachan was saying about the Scottish camp, and it was the same phrases. It was positivity, belief, we believe in go and win and we're confident. Scotland's performance tonight matched those comments. Our performance tonight didn't match it. We didn't look like players that were confident.
We haven't played well. Do you think we played well in Georgia?
I thought that was a poor-ish performance and an excellent result.
And Germany?
I think the commentary on the German performance, I think you've got to throw into this conversation expectations. What are the realistic expectations of the players we had in that team that night?
I'm not asking you about expectation,
but
Richie.
You have to measure
I'm asking you about performance. Did we play well? No, we did not. We did not play well until the game went into the last 15 minutes. Germany got a bit edgy as well, and we improved our play. We haven't played well yet in this group.
There was a lot of positives from the German game.
Why haven't we played well?
Hold on. Just to get in between there, I have to say, Richie, for 70 minutes against Germany, our play was aimless and we hoofed the ball up the pitch. They took Robbie off, they put Walters in, McGeady went wide,
Houlihan came on,
and
Hendrick came on.
Yeah, that made a difference. We started to play. We started to play ball. The question, Dara, is there a philosophy? And that's the question Liam's asking. With Trapattoni there was. I didn't like it, I hated it. I don't think Richie liked it. I don't think people liked it.
Not latterly did it.
Okay.
When the results were okay.
Okay. I thought it was barren. Now, I think the point Liam makes is an interesting one. There's not much difference. Tonight, the choice of Shane Long and Walters to play up front was, I thought, a good choice. But what it suggests is that Martin's always liked big centre forwards. He signed Emil Heskey twice. Chris Sutton at Celtic, the Welsh guy, the centre forward.
John Hartson.
John Hartson. And I thought, OK, if you're going to play like that, knock it up long, you have to get up and support the ball. There was big gaps between our back four and our front players, even when we were doing well in the first 20 minutes. You've got to close that gap. You've got to get tight in midfield. You've got to stop their good players playing. For example, Robertson, the left back, he flagged early on. He's a good player. He was signed by Hull for $3.5 million. He's a top fullback. Now, he was danger all through the match. He was danger all through the first half. You've got to stop that.
No, one of the similarities, certainly from the Trapattoni era, was we conceded the initiative in the middle of park by only having 2 players in there for the majority of it, certainly for the first half. They outnumbered us, they had more of the ball, and there was no impact. There was countless conversations watching Trapattoni's teams playing where we focused on the 2 central midfielders and hammered them. But I thought the system that we played, the instructions they were given, exposed them, and I think the same was the case tonight. But when we had the ball, we didn't keep it. There was no players that looked to play with real personality in the middle of the park. I don't remember Gibson getting on the ball, looking to slow it down, looking to start things, looking to demand the ball back, to impose himself in midfield. Hendrick didn't do it at all.
The kind of thing we've seen Houlihan do. When Houlihan,
but I don't think Houlihan would have played. He didn't have McCarthy available tonight and didn't have Houlihan.
No, he was unlucky. And this isn't a Martin O'Neill attack exercise. This is an analysis of what happened tonight. And what happened really was we didn't have the quality. He was unlucky McCarthy wasn't fit, for example. Yeah. You could argue he was unlucky Mark Wilson wasn't fit, except that Richard Keogh came in and was outstanding. So we solved that problem. The midfield problem was tough. Darren Gibson hasn't started only in the Carling Cup or whatever it's called now this year.
League, I think.
Yeah, he's only started a couple of matches, so he's not match fit. Hendrick is a rookie from Derby County. You know, he's a good lad with a big heart, but that was too much for him tonight. He was diving into tackles and might have been sent off actually in the first half. So there was inexperience there. Ward at left back is a problem and always going to be a problem. But what Robertson did for Scotland, you would look for Seamus Coleman to do for Ireland, because he's just as good going forward.
But he can only do that. He can only do that by the way the other players play.
That's right.
Yeah. You can only bring your fullback into the game by slowing the game down, by passing the ball, by retaining possession, and then you make good ground up the pitch, and then your fullbacks join in. And we didn't do it. And Dara, we got hammered on the panel, myself, John, and Eamon, the last game.
Here, yeah.
We got hammered for what we said.
But the country was celebrating that.
Yeah, we're celebrating a marvellous result against the world champions.
Yeah.
But the actual analysis of how we played went out the window.
But you have nights like that against teams like we played where you
there's a team tonight that we're playing against. We're the equal of. You know, where the players play, probably our players play in better clubs.
We mentioned beforehand about the Premier League players.
Yeah, they probably play in better clubs, our lads. But they were the better team because they passed it and played. They had a way of playing. They believed in the way of their playing. We were hurly-burly, crashing it. Didn't have lads with temperament. Yeah. You know, I'll show some of the tackles that we got caught up with. You know, that's playing into Scotland's hands.
But you talk about playing a game or playing, some teams play the occasion. Did we get the occasion wrong? Did it get to us? Did all this build up?
It certainly looked like it for a number of players.
Yeah.
But that surprises me.
Well, yeah, but I think I felt before the game midfield was the key. It always is the key. If you haven't got quality there, a little bit of smarts. You know, someone who's checking out, playing the ball to McLean's feet, letting McLean go at the fullback, playing the ball to McGeady's feet, giving McGeady a chance to attack the left back. We didn't have that. Maloney was doing that. Naismith, McGrew, I've seen McGrew play a lot for Celtic. He was absolutely brilliant tonight with his left foot all over the midfield. Composed, dominated the midfield, almost scored. So it's really a question of, to be fair to Martin O'Neill, this is only a fourth competitive match. So there's a long way on the journey to
We've
travel.
7 points on the board.
Yeah,
in the first
so we're not in a bad place at the moment.
The group table looks reasonably well, given the fixtures we've had. We've gone away from home.
But we're going to have to. One thing we're going to have to do is pass the ball and put our best footballers on the pitch. It is called football for a reason, and that's the reason.
Guys, we've got to go for the moment. It's time for us to take a quick commercial break. We'll have more reaction to tonight's disappointing defeat at Celtic Park after this.